think that you should choose to romanticize your life. I was thinking about purpose, and I think that everybody should carry themselves with a purpose, find that, and then map it out really long term. Because the truth is that when you say someday, someday is not a real day. The day that you're thinking of will pass you by, I guarantee it. I want to share 3 thoughts with you. The third, especially, I think is something that you can really apply. Hopefully the mic got that. If you don't know me, my name's Connor. I'm 21. I've generated $950,000 in revenue in about 3 years. And for whatever reason, I wasn't thinking about that. I'm not thinking of the past. I'm just thinking about the moment. So there's something that I swear most people get wrong. And that's that confidence and happiness don't come from vibes. They come from confidence in knowing where you're going and how you're gonna get there, at least partially. I think that a lot of what makes somebody confident has to do simply with picking something, typically a purpose, and moving towards that on a daily basis, very consistently, even when you don't feel like it, knowing that you have goals to achieve over the long term. Just last night, my friend and I were having this conversation about what makes somebody really confident, because, and I'm sure you've noticed this, some people, they just carry themselves differently. And maybe it's not in every aspect of their life. Like, I'm not the most confident person in every aspect of my life. But when it comes to my goals, when it comes to, like, let's say money, I feel like I know exactly where I'm going. I think there's so much truth to that. Like, I'll paint the picture. We're talking about one of his friends that I've hung out with a couple times, and his friend is so self-confident. He when he talks about like his goals in life, what he wants to achieve, he's not a super money-driven person, but just where he wants to be in like 5 years, there's no doubt. There's literally zero question. And for whatever reason, it seems to carry with him in a lot of the things he does. It makes him more comfortable. He tends to be more calm, and he doesn't really worry because he just trusts the process. It's like no matter where you're going along that path, it's not going to shake him from getting to his destination. He knows where he's going. He's had that in his mind for the last 10 years, and nothing's going to shake that. And the moment he said that, it's almost like a light bulb, like a switch went off in my own head, and it reaffirmed like every thought I had been thinking, because, it's such a good way to put into words what I think a lot of people think, because most people, they think about confidence, right? They think about like, what does confidence look like? That comes from a lot of competence, right? That comes from a lot of practice and knowledge so that you feel comfortable with what you're going to do. But there's very little chance you're going to be competent if you don't have the path laid out in front of you. You don't know where you want to end up, because then inevitably you're going to be kind of lost with every action, every step you take. It's never going to feel quite comfortable. And the point of that is, when you get so caught up in motion, Kai Cenat always says this, you get caught up, you're in motion, because you just know exactly where you're going to go. There's no reason for anything to faze you. You really feel good. You feel confident about where you're going. And it just makes life easier to navigate. You don't know every step. Like you might only know the first step and the last step, but that's okay. I want to record some of these in the daytime, but it's really hard to beat just how peaceful it is. Now, I do feel like I meet a lot of people that they're not necessarily like lost in life, but they don't know how to find their purpose. For whatever reason, they think they're lazy, or other people think they're lazy. I don't think you're lazy. You just don't have purpose. You just haven't found it yet, so you don't know what to do every day. In my opinion, there's nothing worse than drifting. You can wake up, you can get very little done, but as long as that bit you got done is in pursuit of the long-term goal, it's okay. But if you're just drifting and you have no idea what's going on, you don't know where you're going, I think that's when it becomes a problem. I think that's when it starts to catch up with you and you start to feel down on yourself. And it's not to say, you know, people don't feel down when they're not, you know, ahead of their goals, but it's easier to follow a path than to wake up completely lost. I really hope I don't butcher this, but I listen to a lot of Andrew Huberman, and something he talks about that I think is really important, and it kind of goes hand in hand with this. He talks about your anterior mid-cingulate cortex. I hope I didn't butcher that. But basically, the part of your brain that actually likes growth. So you're not crazy to think that you feel better every single time that you learn something. Our brains are designed, literally designed, to feel good about expansion. It's the region linked to willpower. And what that means is oftentimes, you know, you might think it's crazy that, you know, you feel good when you learn something. You're not crazy. Our brains are literally designed to grow and expand and to be challenged and to learn something every day. But that becomes extremely difficult when you have no idea what to learn. I think a lot of times you're gonna see videos, you're gonna see people talk about, you know, get up, achieve something, do something. That is one of the most difficult tasks, in my opinion, when you have no sense of direction. You have no idea where you wanna be. So how do you know where you're gonna end up? But my point is that if you think you're a lazy person, you're probably not a lazy person. You just haven't found what you need to pursue yet. And I was very much like that. I'm sometimes still like that, depends on the day. You know, sometimes you forget what you're fighting for. But I think that you can do something about it, and I don't think it's very difficult. I think that one of the most powerful things you can do is physically map out that plan, right? I think tools like ChatGPT are great for this. Figure out where you want to go generally, right? Think about what you like. Mark Cuban always says this though. Think about what you're good at, because sometimes it's not just passion, right? Passion is fleeting. It's figure out what you're good at, figure out what you can wake up every day and do. I heard this advice, you know, when it comes to YouTube. Think about something that you could talk about to a wall for hours. If nobody was listening, what could you yap about in extreme detail that you understand and that you can convey to somebody like it's your best friend, and you want to hype this thing up because you care about it? Not everybody's going to have that purpose. Not everybody's going to find that exact vision in life where, you know, you just feel so happy and so excited, but that's okay, right? There's an exercise I still want you to do. There's an entrepreneur I follow pretty religiously. His name is Ryan Serhant. You've probably heard of him. He's like the fastest growing realtor or broker or, I don't know, real estate business owner in the world. He's a big believer, and he says this all the time. Once a year, and I would preach, actually, like I like to follow what Ali Abdul says. Once a month or once a quarter in your life, ask yourself, are you satisfied? And if you are, great. I mean, this video isn't for you. But for most people, I'm certain the answer is going to be kind of, you know, I've gotten some things I like. And I think you need to think, this goes way back. Think about the end goal. Think about where you want to end up at the end of the journey. And Ryan in specific, he's so big on the very end of the journey. He literally keeps a picture in his wallet of him at the age of 80 years old because he wants to remind himself, you know, one day I was 10 years old. You know, he always says, one day I was 10 years old, I was teasing my brother. The next, I'm 20, I'm in college. And then in the blink of an eye, I'm 30. And I'm only 20, but I feel that. And I'm sure that all of you definitely can. Ask yourself, are you satisfied? And I like to keep an actual like tracker, basically. Like it's like my quarterly goals. Think about where you're at right now, what you have to achieve, and where you want to end up. And when you start tracking this out, don't think of too many things. You know, start with 1, expand to 3, no more than like 4 or 5. Keep it simple so that it's easy for you to keep track of. And what you'll notice is that you're going to find a lot of peace in knowing that, oh, my end goal, like, I'm on track for it. I don't know particularly exactly how close I am, but I understand that I'm taking the right steps to get there. You will feel stressed. I think that this adds a certain layer of tension. Like, you feel like you need to be moving with a lot more speed than everybody else. You might feel like you're behind. But it's that same feeling that allows you to sit in the car, to just breathe. It's the same feeling that allows you to listen to the hum of the road, to listen to music and just take in, like, I'm so happy to be in the car right now. It's quiet. Maybe I'm a year away from my goals. Maybe I'm 20 years. I don't really know, but I'm happy. I'm content in the moment. Not fulfilled, but, you know, happiness, in my opinion, is, you know, it's a whole nother topic. But I'm content in the moment because I know that the long-term goal, I can't achieve that in 3 days. I can't achieve that in 6 days. I can't achieve that in a year. Maybe I can. Maybe somebody can. But I know that's something that takes time. So I'm okay with the moment. I'm okay with right now. Think about the little things, and you're going to fall in love with the big things and the little things. It's all the same. I think that the bigger picture is awesome, but some days you do need to think about the individual day. What does my day look like? How do I start my day? If you are curious about that, click somewhere on the screen. I don't know where it's at. It's one of these, but listen to me yap about that too, because I think it's decent advice as well. That's all I got.